Welcome to rSlash Entitled Parents, where an entitled mother argues, pedophiles need love too. Our first Reddit post is from Claro. So I'm a lifeguard at my local pool, and this happened when I wasn't working. But I got a very detailed recount the next day from another traumatized lifeguard, so I thought I'd share. A swimmer came up to one of the lifeguards saying, I think there's been an accident in one of your toilets. We aren't allowed to leave poolside while on duty, so he radioed for another lifeguard to check it out. And oh my god. Someone had obviously had an awful case of diarrhea. The cubicle was covered in duty. All up the walls, the floor, on the toilet paper dispenser, and in every crevice available. Lifeguard 2 quickly closed the toilet and ran for the manager because they had no idea how to even start cleaning it up. This is where the entitled parent comes in. Lifeguard 1 was watching the pool as he noticed a lady and her kid, maybe 6 years old, walking on the poolside. The most important detail to note here is that the kid has duty dripping down his legs. The conversation went as follows. Excuse me, your son can't come in the pool like that. Oh no, don't worry. I just need to wash him off, then we'll be leaving. What? I'm just gonna dunk him in, just to get the worst off before he changes. No, you're not. You can use the showers for that. Oh, but this will be so much quicker and we're here. Plus, the showers are gross. They're not. They get cleaned at least twice a day. Pool rules say that if you have diarrhea, you aren't allowed to swim. And do you have any idea how unsanitary that is? He'd only be in there for a few seconds. What's the big deal? My son isn't going to get anyone sick. At this point, they argued back and forth, all the while the kid was dripping duty on the floor and looking like death. After a while, the manager had noticed what was happening and came over. The situation was explained and the entitled mother tried to plead her case to him. So, you see, I should be allowed to wash him here. It's communal water. The manager, in a voice that sounded like he was completely over stupid people today, no, leave the pool or I will be forced to ban you. At this point, the lady finally got the message and left. I guess it just sounded more important coming from a grown man rather than a teenage lifeguard. However, in the end, it wasn't really a win for the lifeguards because they had to clean it all up. One of them threw up because of the smell as well. And by the time she'd left, another toilet mysteriously had another duty on the floor. But whatever, they haven't come back again. The story is as funny as it is disgusting, but I can't stop wondering, how do you get duty on the wall? Was this kid doing handstands? Our next Reddit post is from Broken-Nightlight. This literally just happened yesterday. I was at the pool with my auntie and 4 of my little cousins. At this said pool, there is a big pool, a medium kid-sized pool, and a baby pool, all in ground. My aunt was in the baby pool with my 2 baby cousins, and my 2 other cousins were in the medium pool. I was alone in the big pool swimming around. Now, this pool has a rule that any child under a certain height cannot be in the big pool area, even under the guidance of an adult. There was some toddler who was running around the pool edge where he tripped on some sunglasses by the side of the pool and fell in. I was the only one who saw him, so I quickly swam over and picked the flailing, crying child out of the water. He was sobbing, but I calmed him down and he said, "Thank you." Seemed like a super sweet kid. I wondered where the flip his parents were and why he was left alone in the pool area, which he shouldn't even be in. I asked him where his mom was, and he showed me a lady who was tanning in a pool chair, not even paying attention to her child at all. I told her what happened, and the conversation was as follows. He fell in? Yeah, but I saved him. He's okay. Why is he even... She cut me off. Well, why did you take him out of the pool? Because he was gonna drown? Kids his size can't even be in this pool. He is trying to learn to swim. This would have been a great learning opportunity and you messed it all up. If I didn't do anything, he would have drowned. Why weren't you watching him? He would have been fine if it wasn't for you. He was just playing around the pool. Well, kids his age can't even be in this part of the pool. What are you talking about? I paid to be here. He can go to whatever pool he wants. Now, there are signs everywhere explaining the rule of height in children. Apparently, entitled people can't read. I point to one of the rule signs. Well, I never saw that. It wasn't my fault. These lousy lifeguards should have told me the rule. I then reported her to the lifeguard, and she was escorted out of the pool for harassment and neglect of her child, I guess. I then just went to the medium pool and chilled with my cousins. Other than that, my day was rather fun. Have a nice day, laddies. Cue up dude tapping his head meme. Your kid can't be bad at swimming if he's already drowned. Our next Reddit post is from NannyLynn62. My neighbors had this weird relative. He was so odd. No one really liked it when he showed up, even though they couldn't quite figure out why. It became apparent when he was caught and convicted for sexually abusing a little boy. For this, the guy spent several years in jail. Good. The idiot needed to be there. While this guy was in jail, my neighbors had two adorable kids. First a little girl, then a little boy. Awesome and well-behaved kids. So well-behaved it was almost freaky, but then I think my boys might just be part demon. Then, the pedo gets out of prison. When this happened, my neighbors told me that there was no way they were going to let this pedo near their kids, and I was glad that they thought this way. Responsible parents, always good to see. These folks were wonderful parents. About 3 months later, my husband and I ran into our neighbor's mother/mother-in-law. I was never sure whether I liked this woman or not. I was positive I didn't like her after this meeting. This entitled woman did nothing but complain about our neighbors. Her daughter could have done better, her daughter's husband was a lazy slob, they refused to go to church with her, yada yada. I was getting annoyed with her stupid rambling. These were great neighbors that actually watched their own kids when they came over. Then she started complaining about how they refused to let her nephew, the pedo, come to their house. She went on this tirade about how families should stick together and how them not trusting this nephew was just wrong. I stood there in horror as she told us how she had plans to pick up her grandkids and take them to meet her nephew so that he would be given the love and trust of his family, which he so desperately needs. This cow then went on to say that she might even leave them with him for a short time, just so, he can show everyone how trustworthy he is. The police were stupid to say he couldn't be around kids, and she was going to prove it to them. I actually put my hands in my pockets to keep from just reaching out to slap her. I looked at my husband and saw that he was freaked out too. Here, we both were staring at this woman with horrified looks on our faces, and this cow just kept droning on, not even noticing. She was freaking stupid. When we got home, my husband walked over to our neighbor's house and told him what his mother-in-law had said. This neighbor wasn't surprised in the least and said that he wondered if this would happen. He thanked my husband for the warning and told him not to worry. Later, the neighbor told me what had happened. He said that his mother-in-law had come by a few days later and had wanted to take their kids to church. He told her no. She then asked if she could just have them for the afternoon then. He told her no again. She was getting mad by this time and asked him why he wasn't letting her have her only grandkids. He told her that he was afraid she would take the kids around cousin Pedo. The very next thing she said was that my husband and I were lying, that she would never do that. He hadn't brought up our names at all, so when she said that, he knew that she had been planning on doing just that. He told her that he knew she wasn't going to do that because he wasn't going to let her. She became angry at this and said that she would talk to her daughter about his accusations and left. Later, her daughter told her that she could come by the house anytime she wanted to see the kids. She also told her that anytime she wanted, they would bring the kids to her house for a visit. That is, as long as her nephew, the pedo, wasn't there. But never, ever was she going to be allowed to just take the kids without her or her husband. So she was just going to have to accept it. Her mother angrily told her that God gave her those kids, so therefore God could just as easily take her kids away. I'm not sure, but that kind of sounded like a threat to me, but who knows? So the mother-in-law did the only not logical thing and moved her nephew, the pedo, into her house. What followed was this woman moaning and complaining that no one ever visited her anymore and she was no longer welcome to any of her relatives' homes. The reality was that she stubbornly insisted that her nephew, the pedo, be invited too, and if not, then she was staying home. I haven't been able to figure that one out at all. Now the neighbor kids are all grown up. This woman still to this day lives alone with her pedo nephew and still loudly wonders why no one comes to her house or why she's no longer invited places. This woman is so detached from reality. Why is no one showing sympathy to this pedophile? Pedophiles need love too. Our next Reddit post is from NameNerd77. Earlier today, I went to a birthday party for my 6-year-old daughter's friend from school. The party was being held at Build-A-Bear, but it wasn't run by the employees. We had cake and pizza in the food court, then went down to Build-A-Bear to make bears. Then back to friend's house for the rest of the party. The invitation said each kid, about 8 in total, would get to make a bear, and I just assumed they would get to take them home, since that is what happened at another Build-A-Bear party I went to. Me and my husband even pitched in about $30, as we know these things can get expensive. We get to the store, and the kids go wild getting their animals and accessories. As far as I know, the parents didn't really put a limit, but I made my daughter stick to just a standard dog with a shirt, which about half the parents did as well. All is well. We leave the store. Then friend's mom announces that the kids need to give all their animals to her daughter. Cue the upset and angry kids. They all disappointingly handed over their animals. And friend wasn't even being nice about it either. Another little boy didn't want to, and friend ripped it out of his hands. I probably should have said something, but I didn't. The other parent seemed pretty baffled too. We get back to friend's house, and our kids are watching as the friend plays with all of her new animals. I left with my daughter pretty quickly, and once we got back into the car, she just started bawling. I felt bad, so we went to Build-A-Bear and got her a new one. I'm just wondering if this is totally normal and I should have expected this, or am I being an entitled parent? Update. This afternoon at school pickup, me and another parent had a chance to talk with the mom of the party. It wasn't a long conversation, but I'll do my best to reenact it here. Mom's fake name will, of course, be Karen. Insert awkward small talk here. I hope the girls enjoyed my daughter's party the other day. I know my daughter had lots of fun. The other mom said, yeah, I was actually wondering about the whole daughter getting all the bears thing. The kids seemed pretty upset afterwards. Oh, yeah, we wanted our daughter to have a special animal decorated by each of her friends. I said, oh, okay. I was just wondering why the kids didn't get to keep their bears. I even pitched in a little bit of money, assuming the bears would go to the kids. Well, I didn't have enough money for each of the guests to make their own. That would get pretty expensive. If you want your money back, I'll see about getting it back to you. I don't really see the problem, though. Okay, well, the kids were forced to give away their new creations. Obviously, they're going to get upset about it. I also don't see why your daughter needs all these animals. Karen didn't respond and walked away right after, probably offended. What bothers me is she said she didn't have enough money for all these kids to have one. But she did have enough for her daughter to get like 8 bears. Just doesn't really make sense. Now, I admit I'm not the most confrontational person, so I probably should have talked to her more about it. Anyways, I guess we sort of worked it out. No one's fighting, so I'm not sure I'm going to have to mention it to her again. Sorry this wasn't the most satisfying ending, but thanks for all the love and support. It means a lot. I have to wonder if somewhere buried in the dregs of r/entitled parents, is there a Reddit post that reads, I threw a birthday party for my sweet daughter, and every single parent of kids who were invited demanded that their child gets my daughter's birthday gifts. The nerve of those entitled parents. That was r/entitled parents, and this is r/puppy bloopers. Even under the guidance... My aunt was in the baby pool with my 2 baby cousins. Even under the guidance of an adult, even under the dog. Arr, arr. Even under the guidance of an adult. Even under the guidance. All right, fine. I'll pet you, Pooch. Come here. Come on up. Come on, Pooch. Oh, you're so big now. even under Pooch. Oh gosh, cutie patootie. Smooch the Pooch. Mwah. Arr. Poochie poo. Smooch the Pooch.